may be a few left, but I do believe they're going fast. So we're honoring C. Sharp and her new book, The Swagger of Dorothy Gale and Other Filthy Ways to Strut. And I'm happy to introduce C. Sharp, award-winning poet and 2010 K-State English graduate. I first met C, who some of us know as Cherry, in my British Survey 2 class in fall 2009. An astute reader, C also embraced opportunities for creativity, such as, and she doesn't remember this, but I think I do. She wrote a dramatic monologue from the perspective of Porphyria. If you know that poem by Robert Browning, you'll see that somebody needs to write that. The following semester, in exploring creativity, C eagerly embraced opportunities for risk-taking. C's project for the class explored identity in a series of poems. By the way, she told me this poem is slightly revised, the final poem in the book. A series of poems written, transcribed on tiles, then broken up and attached to the top of a coffee table in a mosaic design. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah.
And I wrote out the letters C,
yes.
S-E-E, but in mirror, so you can actually look at yourself.
This project was certainly one of the most successful semester projects I've seen. Even then, C's poetry was both playful and fierce in its investigation of a range of interesting, sometimes difficult, contested issues. Most recently, these issues find C actively involved in intersectional veganism, Black feminism, and other social movements that work towards empowering marginalized people while dismantling oppression. Currently a resident of Seaford, East Sussex, a global poet. C was a Manhattanite for over a decade, so that fact provides a context for what you might consider kind of a strange accent. Mid-Atlantic accent, we might call it. C has won several awards for poetry, including a Pushcart Prize, a Prairie Seed Poetry Prize. Of C's poems, poet and creative writing professor Elizabeth Dodd says, C. Sharp's buoyant poems kick at the margins and don't care if the roof comes down. As one of C's teachers at K-State, I feel certain that earning a BA in English probably focused C's attention on language, how our word choice not only reflects, but also shapes our reality, down to our choice of pronouns. Welcome back to K-State, C. Sharp.
Thank you so much. What an incredible introduction. Thank you so much, Deborah. That was amazing. Thank you all for turning out. This is an amazing turnout. I'm really pleased. I can't believe there are people actually standing. Oh my God. And my dad actually showed up. He was supposed to be performing at a concert. And he said, screw this. I'm just gonna go to a poetry meeting. Oh my God. I'm just overwhelmed right now. So one of the things Deborah mentioned was that I am a townie. I grew up here and I went to elementary school, middle school, high school, college in Manhattan. So I do have some insight about this place, although it has changed over time and evolved. But by moving outside of not only the country, in the hemisphere, I've also been, it's kind of given me a way of looking back at my life and kind of giving it some perspective, giving it more context, in a way that I wouldn't have done so if I were still here, if that makes sense. So in a way, it's like I've got the opportunity to take off my fancy slippers that sparkle and try on a new pair of shoes that kind of fit me a little bit better. And I think that's kind of relevant for this book, actually, in the sense that each one of these poems that I've written has its own way of strutting because of the shoes that they wear. It has its own walk, its own swagger. So let's get into it, right? Let's see, the first poem, I kind of have a set list. We'll see if I actually stick to it. The first poem I wanted to do is a poem for it's a namesake poem. It's called The Swagger of Dorothy Gale. And it's taken from the perspective of Dorothy Gale, who I'm assuming everyone is familiar with, the main character from The Wizard of Oz, is taken from the perspective of her as an elderly person. Here it goes. 1. I did this to myself, asked for it, pretended I wanted to come back here, thought I deserved deportation into the gray lands. And desperation feels like fists snagging grass petals. It feels like life has always depended on a single color that can never be my own. And I predicted all these ashes, all this tooth rot, predicted the cancers, the graphite, the dead tarnished eyes of park statues expecting all their pigeons' shit. Kansas is gray like this. And I predict Kansas will always be gray like this. 2. We know this gray like the oldness creeping over us, like slow motion, like forced smiles on grandmothers remembering how they used to look just the way you do, child. And no one wants to die here. It's true, they tell you, no one chooses to die here. But when the last drop has been sipped and the last scone has been jammed, when it is time to return your tiny serviette to the table where it was found, push back your seat and excuse yourself away. Shuffle up the wooden stairs like your Nana would do. Put on your silver Sunday shoes like your Nana would do. And throw on a shawl and take your time and breathe. Ease into your rocker like a hot bath. Sway as if the wind from an open window were blowing you back. Dig in those heels like you're being forced to go back, back to that horrid grayness you belong in. And it's true. Kansas is gray tonight. 3. Don't be fooled by all the shocked-faced shadows swinging from the branches. Sad to say, they ain't surprised. They knew their day would come like that. They planned their hauntings, drew up the blueprints with twigs in the mud the night before their after parties. They hung up their streamers, mixed their punch, reviewed the guest list, chuckled into pieces. And you can find them in city parks at night, queued at the little gray water fountains with white written in black letters like it's just an inside joke the living folks seem to have forgotten nowadays but claim to understand, and I don't understand. Why we are still stuck in this Dust Bowl age, sinking into grainy filmed pictures. We are pitchfork arms, we are crosses burning like hallelujah. We smell like tar, we vomit feathers. And I don't think it makes anyone colorblind to see. It is so damn gray here. They call this black and white, but it's just gray here. Can't you see us, starving like the Africans? We let the flies bite our bones like we are Africans. We dig in the dirt or sweat on porches praying because all the sunshine has been filtered straight from heaven, sad to say. It's true that the holiness is smudged away, and God's thumbs are ever so distinctly tinted gray too. Thank you. Really unprofessional. I had gum in my mouth the whole time. My mom's probably like, that's so professional. It's just